Some brands are built through mere advertising. Others are built through generations of trust. For decades, Suppligen has been a part of our lives. Then, in 2016, Seprod acquired Nestlé's Bob Walk Condensery, beginning a new chapter and renewing its commitment to one of the country's most iconic brands. From new flavors and formats to bold storytelling, Suppligen evolved for a new generation. After years of quiet, the brand reconnected with Jamaicans through Out and Stunting, powerful new television campaigns, and authentic experiences. Then came our biggest brand experience yet, the inaugural Suppligen Big Boost Games. Brought together 50 teams for 50 hours of endurance, resilience, and teamwork, captivating audiences across Jamaica. From a trusted nutritional drink to a modern lifestyle brand, Suppligen continues to evolve. 50 years of boosting Jamaica. And we're only getting started.
Okay, welcome everybody. I'll call the meeting to order and welcome everyone that is watching us online and also who are here present at the Terra Nova. I'm going to ask the Corporate Secretary to read the notice of the meeting, give apologies for absence, and the receipt of proxies. Damien?
Good morning, everyone. Notice of annual general meeting. Notice is hereby given that the annual general meeting of Seprod Limited will be held at the Terranova All Suite Hotel on July 29, 2026 at 10 a.m. The meeting will be held in a hybrid format, that's physical and virtual, for transacting the following businesses. 1, to receive the audited accounts and the reports of the directors and auditors. To consider, and if thought fit, pass the following resolution. That the director's report, the auditor's report, and the audited accounts for the year ended December 31, 2025 be and are hereby adopted. 2, to elect directors. The directors retiring from office by rotation, pursuant to Articles 89 and 91 of the Company's Articles of Association, are Messrs. Michael Sobrati, Nicholas Scott, Brian Winter, and Ronnie Schindler. To consider, and if thought fit, pass the following resolutions. Resolution 2A, that the directors retiring from office by rotation and offering themselves for re-election be elected en bloc. Resolution 2B, that Messrs. Michael Sobrati, Nicholas Scott, Brian Winter, and Ronnie Schindler be re-elected directors. 3, to fix the remuneration of directors. To consider, and if thought fit, pass the following resolution. That the amount shown in the audited accounts as director's remuneration for the year ended 31 December 2025 be and is hereby approved. 4, to appoint auditors and authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors. To consider and if thought fit, pass the following resolutions. Resolution 4A, that the directors be authorized to appoint the auditors, and Resolution 4B, that the auditors be authorized to agree on the remuneration of the audit, that the directors be authorized to agree on the remuneration of the auditors. 5, to transact any other business which may be properly be transacted at an annual general meeting. The notice is dated 28th of April 2026 and is approved by order of the board and signed by yours truly. Apologies for absence. I have an apology from Director Nicholas Scott. For the list of proxies, I have 9 proxies here. There is a proxy from Mosin Jamaica Limited in favor of Paul B. Scott or Melanie Sobrati. Facey Group Limited in favor of Paul B. Scott or Melanie Sobrati. There's Coconut Industry Board in favor of Nicholas Jones. Sadicor Pool Investments Fund, trading at Sadicor Pool Equity, in favor of Kelsey Taylor or Shida Brown. There's Sadicor Life Jamaica Limited as managing agent for JCSD Trustee Services Limited, Sigma Equity, and that's in favor of Kelsey Taylor or Shida Brown. There are some Sadicor Life Jamaica Limited pool funds in favor of Kelsey Taylor or Shida Brown. There's BPM Financial Limited pension account BP 6475 in favor of Justin Campbell or Horace Lawrence. There's National Insurance Fund in favor of Horace Lawrence or Justin Campbell. And there's BPM Financial Limited account PEQ01 in favor of Dana Kellier or Iran Pine. Okay, that's it. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. I now move that the director's report be taken as read. Could I get a second, please? Livingston Young, thank you very much. Nice to see you, Mr. Young. Welcome. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. I will now invite the CEO, Mr. Richard Panduri, to give you an update on the company.
Chairman PB, fellow directors, distinguished shareholders, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, good morning. It's a privilege to present my report on the performance of Seprod for the 2025 financial year. When the chairman and I stood before you more than 10 years ago, we shared an ambitious vision to transform Seprod from a successful Jamaican manufacturing company into one of the Caribbean's leading consumer goods business. Today, I believe we can say with confidence that we have achieved that ambition. More importantly, we have built a platform capable of creating value for decades to come. Seprod has become one of the largest and most diversified manufacturing, distribution, and consumer products companies in the Caribbean. Through disciplined investment and strategic acquisitions, we have built a regional platform that spans multiple territories, multiple industries, and millions of consumers. Today, we possess an unmatched route to market across the Caribbean, and our tentacles spread to the UK, Canada, United States. Despite a very challenging global environment, I'm pleased to report another year of robust financial performance. Revenue grew by 14% to $152.3 billion. Operating profit increased by 23% to $11.1 billion. And net profit attributable to shareholders from continuing operations rose by 58% to $4.2 billion, with earnings per share moving from $3.62 to $5.09, a 41% movement. Applause. These results demonstrate both the resilience of our diversified business model and the extraordinary commitment of our employees. They are achieved against a backdrop of persistent inflation, elevated interest rate, supply chain disruptions, geopolitical uncertainty, and severe weather across our region. The world has become increasingly unpredictable, but Seprod is built for times like these. Our ambition is simply not to withstand uncertainty, it is to thrive in it. Today, I want to emphasize one message above all others. The first phase of our journey was about scaling, building muscles, having size. The next phase will be about converting that scale into superior shareholder value through integration, operational excellence, and the realization of synergies. This is where our energy is now firmly focused. Integration is never easy. It requires investment, patience, and discipline. But the benefits are already becoming evident. We're leveraging our increased purchasing power, sharing best practices across markets, improving operational efficiencies, and strengthening relationships with both suppliers and customers. The Caribbean remains one of the world's most fragmented consumer markets, yet our competitive advantage lies in combining our regional scale with deep local market knowledge. Few companies in our region can match that combination. A major priority for management is improving cash generation and increasing returns on invested capital. I'm pleased that operating cash flow increased significantly during the year to $9.3 billion, reflecting stronger earnings and improved working capital management. These stronger cash flows will enable us to reduce debt, lower financing costs, and strengthen our balance sheet, positioning us to deliver stronger and more sustainable returns for you, our shareholders. We also continue investing in the future. During 2025, this group invested approximately $3.7 billion in manufacturing facilities, technologies, logistics infrastructure, automation, and digital transformation. These are to improve our productivity, or enhance our customer service, reduce costs, and ensure that Seprod remains competitive for decades to come. No review of 2025 will be complete without acknowledging the impact of Hurricane Melissa. The hurricane affected many of our employees, our customers, and communities. Many families lost homes and possessions, while businesses, including ours, faced significant disruption, and we are still recovering from it. As a company, we understood that our responsibility extended beyond protecting our own operations. Working alongside government agencies, relief organizations, and business partners, the Seprod Foundation, led by our chairman, Melanie Sebrati, provided assistance where it was most needed and continues to provide assistance to support this country's recovery. I also want to pay a special tribute to our employees. Many face personal hardship while continuing to serve our customers with extraordinary professionalism and commitment. A big shout out to our employees, especially in Western Jamaica during that time. Their resilience reminded us that our greatest strength has always been and will always be our people. As we continue our transformation into a truly regional enterprise, we remain committed to building a culture founded on accountability, collaboration, curiosity, integrity, safety, and continuous improvement. Our achievements this year were also recognized nationally. Seprod received the 3 highest honors awarded by Jamaica Manufacturers Exporters Association: the Governor General Award for Manufacturer of the Year, the Governor General Award for Exporter of the Year, the Prime Minister Award for Large Champion Exporter. We also received the R.J. Gleaner Business Honor Award for the first time in the company's history. And we were named Best of Chamber Extra Large Enterprise by the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, prevailing against outstanding companies from every sector across Jamaica economy. So if you're a football fan, an English football fan, this will be like winning the English Premier League, the FA Cup, and the Champion League, the coveted treble. You can give it applause, no? Looking ahead, I remain confident. The global environment will undoubtedly continue to present uncertainty. In many respects, uncertainty has become the new normal. However, the long-term fundamentals supporting our business remain strong. Regional trade continues to expand. New opportunities continue to emerge. And our brands continue to earn the trust of consumers, and our distribution platform continues to strengthen. Yet, we have only just begun to unlock the full potential of the platform we have created. Our mission is clear: to execute better, to integrate faster, to improve productivity, to strengthen cash flow, to reduce leverage, consistently deliver superior returns to our shareholders, and to contribute meaningfully to the development of Jamaica and the wider Caribbean. Before I conclude, I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to our employees across the Caribbean. Thank you for your commitment, your resilience, and your unwavering dedication. To our customers, suppliers, business partners, principals, thank you for your continued trust. To our board of directors, led by Chairman P.B. Scott, thank you for your guidance, stewardship, and steadfast support. And finally, to you, our shareholders, thank you for your confidence in Seprod and your continued belief in our long-term vision. Together, we're building something far greater than a successful company. We're building a Caribbean-born enterprise that connects people, products, and partners, creating value for our shareholders, opportunity for our people, and prosperity for the region we proudly call home. Thank you for your confidence, your trust, and your continued support. Chairman.
Thank you, Richard, and thank you for your leadership. At this time, I'm going to ask Ms. Tricia Ann Smith of PricewaterhouseCoopers to read the auditor's report. We will have a musical interlude next time. Unfortunately, we didn't organize it for this time.
Good morning, Chairman P.B. Scott, directors, executive management, shareholders, media. Independent Auditor's Report. To the members of Seprod Limited, report on the audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statements. Our opinion. In our opinion, the consolidated financial statements and the standalone financial statements give a true and fair view of the consolidated financial position of Seprod Limited, the company, and its subsidiaries, together the group, and the standalone financial position of the company as at 31 December 2025, and of their consolidated and standalone financial performance and their consolidated and standalone cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with IFRS accounting standards and with the requirements of the Jamaican Companies Act. What we have audited: the group's consolidated and standalone financial statements comprise the consolidated statement of financial position as at 31 December 2025, the consolidated statement of comprehensive income for the year then ended, the consolidated statement of changes in equity for the year then ended, the consolidated statement of cash flows for the year then ended, the company's statement of financial position as at 31 December 2025, the company statement of comprehensive income for the year then ended, the company statement of changes in equity for the year then ended, the company statement of cash flows for the year then ended, and the notes to the financial statements comprising material accounting policy information and other information. Basis for opinion. We conducted our audit in accordance with international standards on auditing ISOs. Our responsibilities under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statements section of our report. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. Independence. We are independent of the group in accordance with the International Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants, including international independent standards issued by the International Ethics Standards Board for Accountants, IESBA code, as applicable to audits of financial statements of public interest entities. We have also fulfilled our other ethical responsibilities in accordance with the IESBA code. Our audit approach, audit scope. As part of designing our audit, we determined materiality and assessed the risk of material misstatement in the consolidated and standalone financial statements. In particular, we considered where management made subjective judgments, for example, in respect of significant accounting estimates that involve making assumptions and considering future events that are inherently uncertain. As in all of our audits, we also address the risk of management override of internal controls, including, among other matters, consideration of whether there was evidence of bias that represented a risk of material misstatement due to fraud. How we tailored our group? We tailored the scope of our audit in order to perform sufficient work to enable us to provide an opinion on the consolidated financial statements as a whole, taking into account the structure of the group, the accounting processes and controls, and the industry in which a group operates. Key audit matters. Key audit matters are those matters that, in our professional judgment, were of most significance in our audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statements of the current period. These matters were addressed in the context of our audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statements as a whole, and informing our opinion thereon, and we do not provide a separate opinion on these matters. Key audit matter: valuation of unquoted equity securities, group and company. Refer to notes 2I, 4, and 17 to the financial statements for disclosures of related accounting policies and balances. Unquoted equity securities denominated in US dollars included within investments on the consolidated and standalone financial statements of financial position amount to $2 billion as at 31 December 2025 for both the group and the company, which represents 1.4% and 2.8% of total assets respectively. These unquoted equity securities relate to an investment in an affiliated company and are not quoted in an active market. The fair value of these securities is determined by management using a valuation model based on discounted future cash flows. The key assumptions utilized by management in the valuation model include discount rate, investees' future cash flows, terminal growth rates, and market participant minority discount. Management used an independent valuation expert to assist in the valuation process. We consider this a key audit matter due to the magnitude of the balance, the complexity of the valuation model, and the use of the management-determined assumptions. How our audit address the key audit matter? Our approach addressing the matter with the assistance of our valuation experts included the following procedures, amongst others: updated our understanding of the methods used by management to determine future cash flow forecasts, assessed the appropriateness of management's discounted cash flow methodology against the requirements of the valuation framework, compared prior management budgets to actual results of the investee, calculated an independent weighted average cost of capital using market available data, including comparable companies, and compared our results to those of management, tested management's key assumptions as follows: evaluated management's assumptions, including the selected growth rates, terminal growth rates, discount rates, and market participant minority discount by reference to relevant industry and other externally derived data where available, including market expectations of investment return, projected economic growth and interest rates, and sensitize management's planned growth rate in cash flows and changes in discount rates. Tested the mathematical accuracy of the discounted cash flow calculations. The next key audit matter: impairment assessment of goodwill and indefinite-lived intangible assets group. Refer to notes 2G, 4, and 16 to the financial statements for disclosures of related accounting policies and balances. As at 31 December 2025, goodwill and distribution network accounted for $10.9 billion, which represents 7.5% of total assets of the group. On an annual basis, management tests whether goodwill and the distribution network are subject to impairment. The recoverable amount of cash-generating units, which are the same for goodwill and the distribution network, have been determined using value-in-use calculations based on the higher of the recoverable amount compared to fair value less cost to sell. The key assumptions utilized by management in the impairment assessment include revenue growth rate, EBITDA to revenue, and discount rate. We considered this a key audit matter because the assessment of the current value of goodwill and the distribution network involves significant judgment and estimation, is sensitive to changes in key assumptions, and the inherent uncertainty in determining economic recovery. How our audit addressed the key audit matter? Our approach addressing the matter with the assistance of our valuation experts included the following procedures, amongst others: updated our understanding of the methods used by management to perform the impairment assessment of goodwill and the distribution network and assessed whether they are in compliance with IAS 36, recalculated the weighted average cost of capital used to discount the expected cash flows, and evaluated those rates against observable market-based inputs and our knowledge of the economic environment, assess the key assumptions, including the revenue growth rate by reference to historical performance of the CGU and relevant external economic industry data, tested the mathematical accuracy of management's impairment calculations, compared the key assumptions to externally derived data where available, including market expectations of investment return, projected economic growth, discount rate, and interest rates, recalculated the discount rate utilizing computing the cost of capital of the group, evaluated management's forecasting ability through backtesting of prior budgets against actual results, compared management's future cash flow forecasts using impairment calculations to those approved by the Board of Directors as part of the annual budgeting process and strategic plans. Other information. Management is responsible for the other information. The other information comprises annual report, but does not include consolidated and standalone financial statements and/or auditor's report thereon, which is expected to be made available to us after the date of this auditor's report. Our opinion on the consolidated and standalone financial statements does not cover the other information, and we will not express any form of assurance conclusion thereon. In connection with our audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statements, our responsibility is to read the other information identified above when it becomes available, and in doing so, consider whether the other information is materially inconsistent with the consolidated and standalone financial statements, or our knowledge obtained in the audit, or otherwise appears to be materially misstated. When we read the annual report, if we conclude there is a material misstatement therein, we are required to communicate the matter to those charged with governance. Responsibilities of management and those charged with governance for the consolidated and standalone financial statements. Management is responsible for the preparation of the consolidated and standalone financial statements that give a true and fair view in accordance with IFRS accounting standards and with the requirements of the Jamaican Companies Act, and for such internal control as management determines is necessary to enable the preparation of consolidated and standalone financial statements that are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error. In preparing the consolidated and standalone financial statements, management is responsible for assessing the group and company's ability to continue as a going concern, disclosing as applicable matters related to going concern, and using the going concern basis of accounting unless management either intends to liquidate the group or the company, or to cease operations, or has no realistic alternative but to do so. Those charged with governance are responsible for overseeing the group and company's financial reporting process. Auditors' responsibilities for the audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statements. Our objectives are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the consolidated and standalone financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an auditor's report that includes our opinion. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but is not a guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with ISOs will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. Misstatements can arise from fraud or error and are considered material if individually or in the aggregate they could reasonably be expected to influence the economic decisions of users taken on the basis of these consolidated and standalone financial statements. As part of an audit in accordance with ISOs, we exercise professional judgment and maintain professional skepticism throughout the audit. We also identify and assess the risk of material misstatement of the consolidated and standalone financial statements, whether due to fraud or error, design and perform audit procedures responsive to those risks, and obtain audit evidence that is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. The risk of not detecting a material misstatement resulting from fraud is higher than for one resulting from error, as fraud may involve collusion, forgery, intentional omissions, misrepresentations, or the override of internal control. Obtain an understanding of internal control relevant to the audit in order to design audit procedures that are appropriate in the circumstances, but not for the purpose of expressing an opinion on the effectiveness of the group and company's internal control. Evaluate the appropriateness of accounting policies used and the reasonableness of accounting estimates and related disclosures made by management, conclude on the appropriateness of management's use of the going concern basis of accounting, and based on audit evidence obtained, whether a material uncertainty exists related to events or conditions that may cause significant doubt on the group or company's ability to continue as a going concern. If we conclude that a material uncertainty exists, we are required to draw attention in our auditor's report to the related disclosures in the consolidated and standalone financial statements, or if such disclosures are inadequate, to modify our opinion. Our conclusions are based on the audit evidence obtained up to the date of our auditor's report. However, future events or conditions may cause a group or company to cease as a going concern. Evaluate the overall presentation, structure, and content of the consolidated and standalone financial statements, including the disclosures, and whether the consolidated and standalone financial statements represent the underlying transactions and events in a manner that achieves fair presentation. Plan and perform the group audit to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence regarding the financial information of the entities or business units within the group as a basis for forming an opinion on the consolidated financial statements. We are responsible for the direction, supervision, and review of the audit work performed for purposes of the group audit. We remain solely responsible for our audit opinion. We communicate with those charged with governance regarding, among other matters, the planned scope and timing of the audit and significant audit findings, including any significant deficiencies in internal control that we identified during our audit. We also provide those charged with governance with a statement that we have complied with relevant ethical requirements regarding independence, and to communicate with them all relationships and other matters that may reasonably be thought to bear on our independence, and where applicable, actions taken to eliminate threats or safeguards applied. From the matters communicated with those charged with governance, we determined those matters that were of most significance in the audit of the consolidated and standalone financial statements of the current period, and are therefore the key audit matters. We describe these matters in our auditor's report unless law or regulation precludes public disclosure about the matter, or when in extremely rare circumstances, we determine that a matter should not be communicated in our report because the adverse consequences of doing so would reasonably be expected to outweigh the public interest benefits of such communication. Report on other legal and regulatory requirements. As required by the Jamaican Companies Act, we have obtained all the information and explanations which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purposes of our audit. In our opinion, proper accounting records have been kept so far as appears from our examination of those records, and the accompanying consolidated and standalone financial statements are in agreement therewith and give the information required by the Jamaican Companies Act in the manner so required. The engagement partner on the audit resulting in this independent auditor's report is Tricia Ann Smith da Silva, signed PricewaterhouseCoopers, Chartered Accountants, Kingston, Jamaica, dated 17 June 2026.
Wow, thank you. With that, I will open up the director's report, auditor's report, and the financial statements for discussion or questions. I know you're going to have many questions. Okay, David?
Good morning. Morning to the directors, shareholders, persons viewing the meeting. Good morning. So,
This is David Rose.
shareholder.
Yeah, shareholder.
So, my first question is related towards a remark you made in your chairman's report in the annual report, and it's with respect to the thousands of acres of land you have in St. Thomas. Your report mentioned the optimization of these land assets will bring many benefits to shareholders in the future. I recall last year's AGM you mentioned that the joint venture, I don't know, I'm not seeing immediately, the St. Thomas development
Company, yeah.
yeah. You said that it's going to be connected towards the development of some land opportunities in St. Thomas.
Yep.
Can you expand a little further on what those opportunities look like for that joint venture and the St. Thomas lands that you own?
Well, we have approximately about 16,000 acres of land between all of our various different entities, mostly in St. Thomas. And we have, over the last 4 years, been working on a master plan on developing the area, which is probably commonly known as Belvedere. And Belvedere has about 2 kilometers of seaside land. It's about 100 acres. And we're looking to develop residential there, commercial on the other side of the road. And in addition to that, we have planning permission, well, we have zoning for residential of about, Michael, is it 1,400 acres? How many? Yeah, 1,400 acres for residential. Our objective, not one go, but over the next 10 years, is to develop that land and create a oasis, a sort of town that is developed from scratch in St. Thomas. And of course, as you're aware, there are good transport links from Kingston St. Thomas now. So we're very, that has facilitated that. And we look forward to developing those properties.
Thank you for your response, Chairman. So during the company's first quarter, Seprod would have disposed of its interest in International Biscuits Limited for approximately $1.71 billion. And the company has mentioned, well, in your chairman's report, you mentioned that the company is looking to focus on its strategic priorities and reduce its debt balance. Seprod has about $15.88 billion worth of debt at the moment. So the first question is, did you take most of the proceeds from that international biscuit sale to reduce the debt balance?
Yeah, the money's fungible, so it didn't go directly into debt, and we have maturities that are maturing over the next 5 years. So our objective in divesting IBL, it's a great business. It's a wonderful business, has great brands. It's a really, really great business, and it's sad to divest anything that you've put in a lot of energy and effort over the years. But the truth of the matter is that the biscuit business and the bakery did not have the scale that our other businesses have. In addition to that, our ingredients business, our core sort of focus in that business, is supplying bakers with flour, grits, etc., and other ingredients. So we didn't consider it sensible over the long term to be in a market that we are competing with our customers. So strategically, we felt divesting it would be a good choice. With regard to debt, I believe the number was $51 billion at the end of the year. As we speak now, it's like 48.8. Our objective is to be about 47 by the end of the year. We could be well below that, depending upon certain things that we're working on between now and the end of the year.
Just 2 more questions before I refer to someone else. So Hurricane Melissa would have had a significant impact to the HoReCa business via CPJ and, towards lower consumption into the Christmas season. The first half of the year is complete at this point, but can you give some context, on one, the recovery out in Western Jamaica for your HoReCa business, and 2, just what I describe as engagement with customers who are trying to recover and might have receivables with the company?
Yeah, so I think you'll see what you're referring to in the HoReCa business is essentially CPJ's subsidiary, and that recovery is going to correlate mostly to hotel rooms opening up, and those same hotel rooms opening up and being full with people who are going to consume. they can open up and not be full with people, and you can have vacancies in hotels. From the sort of projections that we see, we believe things will start to open up by the end of the year, and we'll see a gradual increase in business. But the full recovery we're not really going to see until 2027.
And with respect to the customers might have receivables, because my query is not just coming from the tourism trade perspective alone, but also for those who would have been in the affected parishes along St. Elizabeth, Manchester, and so on, because it's been an environment of hand-holding for a lot of businesses in Western Jamaica, not just from a tourism perspective.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're in a relationship with our customers that's not monthly, although that's the cycle of payment. It's monthly. It's multi-year, and in many cases, it's decades. So, you know, we are working with all our customers to help get their businesses back up and running. I think on the retail side, though, it's coming back. I mean, there's some customers that have not opened back, like Megamart, for example, in Montego Bay. You would have read that was just sold and it's not opening back. So, you know, the retail trade is constantly shifting. You know, new markets open up, markets close, things happen. What has not shifted is our commitment to good customer service and working with our customers. So we will keep laser focused on that, and I'm sure that's going to put us in good stead.
And my final query, is related to the distribution platform that, the CEO spoke about earlier as part of the strategy that was talked about going back as far back as 2022. So the first query, is with respect to the integration amongst, the businesses you've acquired in the last 2 to 3 years. So CPJ, for example, with Facey, the recent acquired business based in Barbados and St. Vincent and so forth. Like, how is that, process going in terms of deepening the integration amongst these businesses, whether it's by products or just by systems and lessons that can be shared?
Well, lessons. There's a lot of lessons. I mean, we ourselves are constantly learning, and each company is slightly different on where they are in that journey. If you take Seprod, Seprod essentially has a platform, one accounting department essentially, and it does the accounts for all the subsidiaries that exist in Jamaica. If you take our business in Trinidad, each of the subsidiaries have their own accounting departments, etc., despite the fact that we're all on one platform, one software system. So, what we need to do in some of those markets is to look at how we can organize ourselves so we have one set of back office. We'll always go to market differently, depending upon the channels, the type of products, etc. But there are significant synergies in the back end. And we have been working to try and achieve that. In Jamaica with CPJ, I mean, that's a constant development. In Trinidad, we're working towards that. I don't think we're going to see significant synergies on the admin side happening pre-warehouse integration. Right now, you'll be aware we have a significant amount of warehouses that we are essentially moving to a central distribution system. And when you move everything centrally, then you're effectively putting everybody through one process. Right now, people have different processes and different warehouses, etc. So we're harmonizing those processes. Once you get harmonized those processes and they're in one place, it's going to be easier for everything else to follow from that.
Thanks. And just to, finalize everything, you've built this very strong platform, in St. Lucia, Barbados, Trinidad, Jamaica. You have reached the DOMRIP as well. My query, is just with respect to the vision ahead for, Seprod, because a lot of the initiatives that have been taking place have been done through AS Pride, and, it's not been a case of separating acquisitions in Jamaica per se directly, but more so through, AS Bryden.
Well, AS Bryden's is
Yeah.
an 80% owned subsidiary of Seprod.
No, I agreed. My career is really just coming back to the fact that, you're building this sprawling enterprise and portfolio of distribution across the region. What's the broader vision going forward? Because you recently acquired the majority interest in Armstrong Agencies, Jason and Jones in Barbados. This is different little companies that have different synergies, whether it's wines or other products that,
So, David, if you think about it, right, the names, they're different names, right? And how we brand and go to market in different markets will change over time. But essentially, if you think about what CPJ does, CPJ has an on-premise business where products are sold to people that consume effectively on-premise. What are they consuming, right? They're consuming alcohol, and they're consuming protein, and some other things, right? Those products, essentially, if you look at Stamford Scott in Barbados, they sell alcohol. H. Jason Jones sells protein. When you put them together, you have a go-to-market that is effectively selling the plate that comes onto the table, as well as what goes into the glass. So it's one customer, and you're trying to deliver an efficient service to that one customer, both in terms of relationship, in terms of credit, management, delivery, and understanding the customer and having a stronger relationship with that customer. So while you mention different names, ultimately it's one strategy. And we're at the beginning of the strategy. We're not at the end. It's not that we have reached where we want to get to. We're not anywhere close where we want to get to. We have built a distribution platform that will basically be fertilized effectively with our products that we manufacture, as well as products that we distribute in different markets. And if you could imagine a matrix of all the products and then all the countries, and you're ticking across, hopefully in 10 years' time, that box will be full of ticks. Right now, it's not very, there's not a lot of ticks in that boxes. There are a number of ticks, and we have a number of wins, and we know that we're going to continue to win accounts and develop the business. And only last week we won the school feeding program in Barbados, right? How did that happen? That's through the distribution platform. What does that mean? That's $2 million worth of effectively product going through the platform. These are little things that add up. And we're at the beginning of our journey, and we're nowhere close to getting to a point saying, what's next? This is the beginning of that strategy. It might seem that we've done quite a bit in terms of acquisitions. That was building out the platform to enable us to execute on that strategy.
Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Scott.
How are
Have
you?
a big up Father God for bringing you here, because long time now come on Seprod meeting.
I'm sure I saw you last year.
Yeah.
You weren't wearing a red hat, though.
No, I never get to come because it was an evening shift and I had some Thursday I did and I keep it so I couldn't get to come.
Oh, you had something better
All right.
to do.
You know, we have to, God to give some man talent and then bury them talent. But you, Mr. Scott, you know why you have to be your personal? You don't bury your talent. God, you have a talent and don't bury it. You execute upon it and you do what you're supposed to do. So big up, Mr. Scott.
Okay, well,
all right?
that's very, very, very kind of you. I will.
Yeah, and Mr. Pan do it too. All right, Mr. Pan. Ace Bryden, can you give an explanation on Ace Bryden? Come me buy your shares now. What it's all about? Just give a little download it.
Okay, well, AS Bryden's is a distribution business that operates in Guyana, Trinidad, Barbados, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, and also Jamaica. Jamaica being CPJ, it's its biggest subsidiary. And it distributes its own products as well as third-party products, and it distributes premium beverages. Premium beverages are essentially alcoholic drinks, effectively. It distributes protein, steaks, bacon, those fish,
Name it.
shrimp. It distributes consumer products, Mondelez, Cadbury's chocolates, etc. And what else do we do? Yes, pharmaceutical. Well, yeah,
That's
healthcare.
great,
Yes.
man. You're sitting a very talent.
Well, yeah, very, very kind
can't-
of you
yeah, you
and
can't turn-
generous.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
turn to page 91,
Okay.
note GC, risk. This is in US dollars. This is in US dollars. A group and the company.
Yep.
2024 is devaluation, revaluation. of
Yeah, the
1%.
number, just to be clear, the numbers are in TT,
Yeah.
Trinidad dollars, not
Yeah,
US. It's
yeah.
referring to a change in the US dollar.
Yeah, the 2025 first to begin with, $54,104. I don't understand this bracket between 13,526,000 and jump below 9,959,000. Your explanation.
Oh, this is not
2025.
TT, this is Jamaican dollars. Sorry,
Yeah.
you got me all confused. I thought I was still at,
No, it's the same region, man.
AS Prime is AGM.
Devaluation, revaluation.
yeah.
So the ask what this bracket signify. One is 13,526,000. Next one is 959. Your explanation, 2025 alone. 2025.
Yeah, so this is a sensitivity table, right?
Yeah.
And effectively, what it's saying is, if there's a devaluation of the Jamaican dollar of 4% against the US dollar, right?
Yeah.
Because of the way our structure of our balance sheet is, or was, not necessarily as is today, but as of December 31st, 2025, if there was a 4% devaluation of the Jamaican dollar,
Yeah.
we would have a $54 million charge to our P&L.
Yeah.
If there was a 1% devaluation of the Jamaican dollar, obviously, and I don't know why there's a gain there, because I would imagine that would have been lost too. It would be 13.5.
Yeah.
And then if there's a 1% devaluation of the Trinidad
Yeah.
dollar, right, we would have a $959 million effect.
It's like, look at the United Center, 1,189,000. That dash, what that signify? And at 2025. Yeah,
Which one?
24, 25, yeah, the dash, that signal.
What dash? What are you talking about?
Yeah, under the company, right, under the company.
Okay. Oh, the dash underneath? It means they didn't do the calculation. Because the company itself doesn't have Trinidad assets.
Oh.
Because the group has Trinidad assets,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But the company itself
Yeah,
doesn't.
doesn't have it, oh.
No.
That's one more, Mr. Scott. You can turn to page 96. Note 3. Within 1 month, within 1 to 3 months, within 3 to 12 months, 1 to 5 months, 5 year, over 5 years. You there, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah? Mm-hmm.
The financial assets, investment, loan, receivables due from subsidiaries, cash and bank. You can give an explanation on this, Mr. Chairman, of 324,952,000.
Which one? The 300, the cash and bank?
Yeah, cash in bank first. Due from subsidies, cash in bank. That one the first.
Yeah, so this is the company, it's not the group, right?
Yeah.
So what it's saying is, at this point in time, the company had $324 million sitting in a bank account at December 31st. The company, not the group.
Yeah. Long-term receivables of 158 million. I'll just like extra load on it. We already know sitting, just go look a load on it. Long-term loan receivables.
Okay, but what's the question?
The dash them between 1 to 3 months and within 1 to 1 month. Of 158,111,000. Dash, what it signify? What it signify? Loan and receivables.
Yeah, dash means nothing. There's nothing there.
Yeah. And the final asset. What about the asset? Asset and investment. Your asset and investment.
Assets and investment. Where was that?
Financial
Okay,
assets.
well, let me just explain. Effectively, this is basically taking the assets of the company and looking at what is there in periods of time, right? And essentially determining if there are interest repricing gaps, right, on the
Repeat
debt.
that again, Mr. Scott.
Okay, so basically,
Yeah.
there are debts and liabilities, right,
Yeah.
that fall due in different periods of time, right?
Yeah.
And they're basically showing what the net amount is and what the effect would be in any period of those times. You see the buckets at the top? That's time.
Look over on the right-hand side. You see interest.
Okay, I don't know. Why don't you figure out what your question is?
No, listen.
Okay,
Well,
what's the
Mr. Scott, look
question?
at the right-hand side. Look, this is a company. Look at, we down in that corner. I have 2,193,000. Let's give an explanation. It's a break-in. You see there, Mr. Scott, 2,100,000.
It says investments at the top, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
I asked-
2 billion,
Yep,
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Those are items that are determined as investments on our balance sheet.
Yeah. You see, Mr. Scott, we have to learn, so.
I know,
right,
I know. It's just where and when. But thank you.
Morning.
Good morning.
Nicola Burley, shareholder.
Nice to meet you.
I know this is the AGM for ending December 31st. However, your quarter one report has been submitted to the stock exchange from May, and we're 6 months into the new period. Can we get some update on where we're at now? Because 6 months is a fair chunk of time. It's half a year.
Well, you got quarter one.
Yeah, but can you speak to quarter one results?
Well, quarter one was very good.
Yeah, well, that would be great to see too.
No, but you got them. They were released to the stock exchange.
Right, release, but can you embellish a little more here at the AGM?
Oh, okay.
That's
well,
my point.
Let me just, talk about the first half year. The first half year for Seprod was good. We can't really speak to the actual numbers until they're released to the stock exchange, but I think you will be pleasantly surprised by the trajectory. And we have very good momentum in the business, despite the recovery that needs to happen in the HoReCa channel, which is definitely still challenging and will continue to be so till the end of the year. Our business and the Jamaican economy relies very heavily on tourism. There's a huge amount of consumption that exists in tourism. So it's not just CPJ's results. You see it in the volumes that we have in our factories that produce product that end up in the tourist sector. That can be milk, that could be fats, vegetable oil, it can be a number of different things. And so there has been a dampening in demand there, primarily because 60% of the hotel rooms are open, and in that 60%, the occupancy is not as high as people would desire. But generally, the first half was very good. Even when you take into account the one-off gain from selling the biscuit factory, subtract that off, the numbers were strong. AS Bryden's did not have a great first half. The business has had a number of challenges in Trinidad with regard to consumer demand. They have a large premium beverage business, and the government put 100% increase in duties on it wasn't really 100% increase in duty, it was 100% duty that was put on. It was a massive increase. So items had to be repriced significantly higher. As a result of that, demand has not been as buoyant as we'd expect. But overall, we expect the second half for AS Bryden's to be a lot stronger. And as a result, we think the trajectory of our existing Seprod business will continue positively. And when you add the two together, we should have a good second half in the year. Unfortunately, I can't give you numbers because we're not allowed to. And yes. Well, and they're, I think, self-evident. There'll be a continuation of that sort of theme.
Yeah, but I wouldn't like to think that you would want to hide your light under the bushels.
Sorry?
I wouldn't think you would want to hide your light under the bushels, so to speak. Since you are looking at a positive trajectory, you would highlight that at the AGM.
Yeah, I mean, you know, our business is selling rice and flour and condensed milk, not necessarily, you know, Seprod's shares. But I think when you see the results, you'll be encouraged, put it that way. And you know, we are encouraged in as shareholders and management. Management have done a great job. It's not been easy on our fats business. We completely restructured the plant many, you know, 4 years ago. Rebuilt a brand new plant at the same time as trying to produce. We lost a considerable amount of market share to imported fats that came in. I think we're getting momentum and getting back our market share now. We're able to produce. We're going to have our innovation pipeline at the company is exciting with new products. We are spending a lot of time focusing on how we can sort of continue to invest in our brands. And it's exciting times for Seprod. It's exciting times.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Pleasant good morning. Lanzel Bloomfield, shareholder.
Yes, Mr. Bloomfield. Nice to see you again.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman, page 105, note 7, under expenses by nature. Mr. Chair, in 2025, you have an inventory loss of $1,735,500,000. Please give us some clarity as to what has caused this massive inventory loss.
Yeah, Damien?
Good morning. Good morning again. The inventory losses that you see there is as a result of Hurricane Melissa. It destroyed a distribution center in the west at CPJ. You'll also look at note 6 above that and see the insurance claims of $3.785 billion, which includes the recovery of those losses.
Okay, thank you. Next question, page 66, note 21. Mr. Chairman, in 2024, your long-term receivables were $846,693,000.
Which page?
Page 66.
That's page 123.
123. Yeah, 123, yep. Long-term receivables, yep.
I don't have it in front of me. It's your long-term receivables. In 2024, your receivables, long-term receivables, $846,693,000. In 2025, this line item declined to $706,758,000. Please give us some explanation on these long-term receivables, and is there a specific time period for the collection of these?
Okay, I'm looking at note 21. Are we looking at the same thing, long-term receivables? And essentially, the long-term receivables, what you're referring to, okay, you're looking at the net from 846 to 706. Is that correct? Yeah, you can answer it if you want.
What you're looking there at,
Page 68. Sorry.
is page 123. What you're looking at there is
Page 68. No, I am looking at page 68, note 21,
Okay.
and it says long-term receivables.
Yeah, so it's increased from 196 to 316 as current portion of long term.
Right, so if you actually go to page 123, which shows the details of the long-term receivables, right, you'll see that the total long-term receivables of 1.023 billion for 2025 is close to the amount of 1.043 billion for 2024, right? The split of current versus long-term has changed significantly over the year, but the total is unchanged. The total is changed because of foreign exchange differences.
I'm not really understanding all of that.
Right. Perhaps if you go to page
Just allow me.
Okay, go ahead.
It says here long-term receivables.
Right.
So what you deduce from all of that is that there has to be, these receivables are going to be collected over a certain time.
That's correct.
And I'm asking if there is a specific time for the collection of these receivables.
Right. Thank you. And it's detailed in note 21 of the financial statements.
And where in the book?
Page 123.
Page 123. Okay.
Thank you.
Last question. Are there any new products that Seprod will be bringing to the market anytime soon?
Well, I mean, we have a big innovation pipeline, and we expect to be launching new...
Not hearing you, Mr. Chief.
Yeah, we have a big innovation pipeline, and we expect to be launching new products throughout the next 12 months.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. And just to say that we have been launching new products the previous 12 months, too.
Okay, Mr. Chief.
Yeah.
Here. That's right.
Okay, yep. David? Oh, sorry, yes. Yeah, your mic is not on.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, right. So, Chairman, I have a question from the online community from a Leston Ferguson. He's asking to elaborate on the heifer redistribution program that was launched by the Ministry of Agriculture at Surge Island.
Okay, I'll give that to the CEO. Heifer distribution program.
I'll take all questions related to my girls. So the heifers are, so Melissa happened, and a lot of damage happened in the southern part of the country. A lot of farmers got affected. And Minister of Agriculture, Minister Floyd Green, and the Jamaica Dairy Board has been going on a program throughout the country to get animals to put back in the system. Seprod is the largest dairy operation in the English-speaking Caribbean. And we have partnered with the government to sell them pregnant heifers, which are redistributed to small farmers and to milk-producing entities. So that's what's been happening. So the last, what the person is referring to is 400 will be redistributed to farmers up to October, end of October this year, and that program started. There was an official launch last week. So, I mean, kudos to the government for this program, and we're happy to partner with them on it.
Thank you. Do we have any other online questions? No? David, did you have a question?
I have a question.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Oh, good morning. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm not a sugar Egan.
Yes. I've seen you at the EPLI meeting and the General Accent meeting.
Okay.
And you're welcome at the Seprod meeting too.
Thank you. Okay, all right. You know, we often hear about the potential of AI, right? But can management identify one AI initiative that you already that is already
That we're doing?
delivering measurable I'm reading my note, but that.
So you want us to articulate an AI initiative that
all
we
right.
have in
Are
our
you
business?
using AI in the company?
Yeah, I mean, I think most companies are.
Yeah.
I don't think you can avoid it.
Right. What are you using AI to do?
It's a very good question. So
Thank
it's
you.
different in many of our different companies in our group, right? But clearly, AI can be used particularly for administration, right? And we're working through our processes and systems, but things like bank reconciliation, et cetera, can be done far faster using an AI bot than using individuals. That's not to say that you can substitute and just press a button and remove all the checks and balances that you have in your system. But there is no doubt that AI is going to deliver considerable efficiencies in our business. Considerable efficiencies. You can also take that to forecasting, you can take that to production, scheduling, you can take that to pretty much everything that requires some sort of planning.
So is it the company or the group?
Sorry?
The company and the group are into AI.
Right, well, the company has to be part of that. We have to be looking how we can work together to deliver improvements in our cost structures.
Do you trust AI?
Do I
you
trust
the guy
AI?
or the girl? Do you trust AI?
I think AI has the potential to create a massive productivity improvement in our economy and every other economy in the world. I think it's probably something that's going to develop beyond what we can even imagine today. And to the extent that when I started work, we had a fax machine in one office, and every fax and communication to the company came to that one fax machine, and the faxes were ripped off, and on them were written on top of the fax who was to get what, and it was put in an envelope for staple. It was sent with a bearer who drove around Kingston dropping off communication, and then people would write letters and send back to the same fax machine about a week later, and they would process it and send the replies. And I don't think I have a day that I don't get 150 emails. And, we're responding constantly, and the internet has totally revolutionized stuff. I mean, there are dangers. I mean, I can tell you, I sit on my couch sometimes playing around with Claude, thinking I'm a structural engineer, and I'm clearly not, right? And I have no ability to determine the output, whether it's right or not. But the fact that you can develop designs, develop software, models, look at references super quickly, it's incredible, absolutely incredible. The same way that, you used to have to study hard at school, and I encourage anyone to continue to study hard at school, but now you're talking about history, and you're talking to some person about history, and they're Googling and fact-checking you under the table, despite the fact you read the books, and they're just looking at on Wikipedia as you're talking, and they're bluffing through the conversation. Well, that's incredible, quite frankly, because it saved them probably tens of hours of reading books.
Will you ever think of using AI to for like cybersecurity?
You asked me a cybersecurity question last time about General Accident, and I said I wasn't going to speak about my cybersecurity to anybody. Yeah, so thank you again. I'm wondering what's your interest in that?
Topic. Can you update us on the expanding of your water hydrating water harvesting?
Sorry, the water?
Water harvesting.
Water harvesting?
Yeah, you're harvesting water.
I
see it in the
assume we are harvesting water in some places. I have absolutely no idea. Richard, are we harvesting water?
It's expanding it's on page, a little bit of it on page 49. Sustainable development.
49. Oh, this is the foundation.
The foundation?
Yeah, I'm
harvesting
completely
water?
unqualified to talk about that.
Okay.
But Melanie, this is about clean water and expanding access to clean water through water harvesting, purification, community infrastructure.
Okay, so in some of the hurricane communities, I think
Do you want?
Hello, yes.
Hi.
After the hurricane, there were obviously issues with water, and there was, sort of health concerns. We immediately had acquired some filtration systems that are used by the U.S. military, they're military grade, and we have distributed them to schools and other places across Jamaica. We have also put them in the 2 communities that you'll see in the annual report, which is Crawford and Seaford Town. And in the recovery effort, we're looking at building resilience hubs that include rainwater harvesting, so that in the event, as we're building back, these hubs are available within the community with solar, with water, and with clean water, so that people are able to, be more prepared if there was a hurricane again or any other emergency.
Yeah,
So
that's
what it is.
that's a very good initiative. For a minute there, I thought you were going to be a competitor for NWC. You know that?
Well, to be honest, we're still trucking water to some of the schools. So we truck water every month to some of the communities that we're working with, because some of them, they still need water. So we're also doing that. So we're, yeah.
I would say, I think everyone at Seprod are very proud of the work that the Seprod Foundation has been doing and continues to do.
Lisa Doyen is over there. She's.
Yeah,
I am cool. Water is life, so keep up.
Water is life.
initiative.
Yes, yes.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
okay.
Livingston again.
All right, Mr. Livingston, one quick question, then David Rose. Yeah.
I have to big up Seprod, because Seprod, they have a business, and Seprod is business. Yeah, based upon the same water thing, Mr. Chairman, you don't think of a dig well and you can give the cows them water. Some use of the well.
Yeah, we do have
drought. When you have drought, because Seprod, yeah.
Yeah, so we do have wells, and we do try and give cows water.
Yeah. So we don't want no water, Shan. And what are the plans for 2025? Seprod, because
Well,
2026. Sorry, 2026. Sorry, my mistake. Yeah. What are the plans? Seprod itself.
Well, I mean, we have a lot of plans. I mean, we're more thinking now. We're going into a budgeting cycle soon in September, October for 2027. We're executing on our budgets that we put in last year for this year. But, we're building out, or have really built out the platform. And what we're trying to do is to work through the synergies. And we've made and are continuing to make constant sort of tinkering and fine-tuning to our business in terms of expenses, efficiencies, if improving productivity, capacity.
Yes.
These are all things that are constant and they're evolving.
Yeah. You can turn to page. Let me introduce myself. Livingston.
Yes.
Livingston. Sorry about that.
You're a legend of your own time.
Yeah. You can turn to page 110. Note 14. Property, plant, and equipment. Underlined item costs. Underlined item costs. Did you hear, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, cost, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Improvement, building, motor vehicle, name it. All right.
Okay.
Disposal. What is the disposal of 35,466,000 under improvement?
Yeah, under improvement?
Yeah, improvement. Land improvement.
Okay, so So this is effectively our plant and equipment, and it's split up into various different asset classes, whether it's freehold land, buildings, equipment, motor vehicles. And then effectively, when we acquire more, which is effectively additions, right?
Yeah.
And disposals would be
35 million.
divesting,
Yeah.
so we would be selling them or transferring them, etc. If you look at things like motor vehicles, we're constantly buying them, and we're constantly selling them because they don't last very long. And
you ever buy something else last long?
The what?
You ever buy something that lasts long?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, look in the middle right here, sir.
Okay.
61,335,000. The bracket. Explain to me under building. What it signify? 61
Yeah,
million.
we obviously sold a building.
Oh, you sold the building.
I have no idea which building. We have a lot of buildings. We're selling buildings all the
Seprod,
time.
you have to know all those things. You know,
Well, that's true, but we have a lot of buildings, and I'm not. It could be an apartment. It could be something.
Seprod is building is money now. Money Seprod. So
I know. I hear you. Yeah, David.
So I'll keep it quick with just three quick questions, basically. So, first question. So, on the Note 20, I see a $2.07 billion in gain and revaluation of the group.
Yeah.
Where was that major investment property gain?
That was based on the change in zoning of the 1,400 acres of land to residential. So previously the land would have been agricultural land, which was in our books at cost. And then when it was changed to residential land, it has a different value because the use is different.
You're referring to the St. Thomas development?
Yeah. Yeah.
Appreciated. I couldn't see a corresponding note on Note 6, so that's why I wanted that clarity.
Okay.
Second question. So, in your chairman's report, page 17, you describe the work on developing a new warehouse in Guyana.
Yeah.
So, two-stage question. One, what's the cost for that new distribution center or warehouse, and when is that supposed to be finished?
Well, I'm going to Guyana Wednesday next week, so I'll be able to have a better idea on when it's going to be completed. I mean, it's in the last stages, so I think by September we should be completely completed. But we're doing some tinkering to the loading docks and the mezzanine floor for offices, and so we're in the last sort of stages.
And what's the cost for that this new warehouse facility?
The cost is it's about $10 million US, around that.
And that leads into my follow-up query. So I believe it was last year, January, A.S. Bryden opened A.S. Bryden and Sons Guyana Inc., which you own 51% of. And I know that you had FT Firefan and other related companies in Guyana.
Yeah.
So we've been hearing about the Guyana boom over the last couple of years, and you've made the deliberate step with the specific subsidiary A.S. Bryden and Sons Guyana Inc. to enter the Guyana market and distribution side. So what's the strategy with respect to Guyana, and how has Guyana met your expectations as you've observed the market in the last couple of years by A.S. Bryden?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I mean, we're very excited by the prospects in Guyana. I mean, you effectively have a country that had a per capita income less than Jamaica, and Jamaica is now at the bottom of the pile in the Caribbean, except Haiti, which we don't really include. But if you think about it, we're about $6,000 per capita, and I think Guyana is passing 25, and it's fast on its way to getting towards 40 plus. The level of oil reserves and gas reserves in Guyana is going to fuel economic prosperity in Guyana for a considerable time to come. Because they essentially did not have much infrastructure before, they're spending a lot of money on infrastructure, so they're spending a lot of money catching up. And it's a fascinating market that has considerable demand for all types of products and services. That doesn't mean that just because you open the door, you can start selling stuff, you know. Everything in our business, at least, starts with people. And we are extremely privileged to have the Nabi family as our partners that own the other 49%. And Natasha Das, who is the CEO, is an extraordinary individual, a great CEO, a huge amount of energy, focus, ambition. And so the number one thing is people. And, you know, a country that has so much demand on its people to do so many things at the same time, it's hard to find great people that are not going to just leave you to go to an oil and gas company, you know, after a month or so, after you've trained them. So the biggest challenge is organization, infrastructure. We're building a top-of-the-line warehouse facility. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. That's 2 years in the making. But that's not easy either, because land prices have gone up considerably. And once you would be paying for agricultural land $5,000 an acre, that same land now that's zoned for industrial is selling for $1.5 to $2 million an acre. So it's very difficult to find the right amount of land, facilities, etc. But the most important thing for us is people. If we can get the best people, attract the greatest talent, have it focused on where we need to get to, then our business really can continue to grow. The other thing that's happening in Ghana is that the population is growing. The population traditionally was 800,000. The last census was 1,058,000, right? So that's a 25% increase in the last 5 years. That's quite considerable. That's more mouths to feed, and we see that population growing even further. It possibly might get to 1.5. When it hits 1.5 and a per capita income of $40,000 over 1.5, that's a massive economy, a massive amount of consumption. So we're very bullish. We're very excited about Ghana. And we'll continue to invest to try and get the best, opportunity for us.
All right, there's a final two queries. So, AS Braden via Braden Pie, has the manufacturing and sale of pharmaceutical products and other. I believe you also have beauty as well.
Have what? Sorry?
You also have beauty under Braden Pie or
duty?
Beauty.
Yes, beauty. We sell beauty products. Yes, L'Oreal and.
So my query was with respect to the manufacturing of the pharmaceutical under Braden Pie, and also, just the related distribution. Is it that you've seen opportunity to manufacture other pharmaceutical products within Trinidad? And secondly, do you see further scale to expand your portfolio of pharmaceutical products in Jamaica and distribution?
Yeah, absolutely. You have various different components of pharmaceutical products, right? You have the branded, what we call branded ethical drugs, Pfizer, Roche, Oranger. Then you have generic drugs. Generic drugs can be split into two. Now branded generic, that's Glenmark, Dr. Reddy's, Apothec. And then you have a lot of other small generic houses that are unbranded, that sell on cost. And then you have the sort of OTC items, cough mixture, paracetamol, those sort of products, although paracetamol is a brand. So, what we will be doing on the OTC genetics is producing cough mixture, et cetera, and selling that throughout the markets.
With respect to Jamaica, you're mentioning that the opportunity is there to still grow the distribution profile, basically.
Of our healthcare business in Jamaica?
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if you think we have, I believe, over 400 molecules as a group sitting in the Ministry of Health waiting for registration. If you think about where we are as a country with regard to healthcare, Jamaica has not approved HRT. HRT is a revolutionary drug for women in going into menopause. It's not available legally in Jamaica because we've not registered it. GLPs, ones, it's transforming globally. It's not available in Jamaica legally. It's available illegally, but not legally. So I hope, the ministry announced in its budget speech that it was going to go to a new registration process where if you're registered in European Union, if it's FDA, then it can be automatically registered in Jamaica. That needs to be put in as quickly as possible because people don't really consider medicine in the same ways they consider technology. But if you do not register and allow drugs to be available to your people, that's a bit like saying that everyone in the workplace must use a typewriter and not a laptop. It has to be available. And we're holding back human standards. In our case, we sell a breast cancer drug that's 5 generations old, has different patient outcomes. Why can't we get the latest generation registered? This is not new. I have been complaining about this for 15 years. It is an absolute disgrace. But I'm grateful and happy that the minister announced in his budget speech, or whatever his speech was, I don't think it's a budget speech, it's what is his sectorial speech, that they're changing to to a new system of registration. And I think that's going to be tremendous for Jamaica. You also have to consider, not only do we as a company have 400 molecules that we can't sell, which is pure sales and growth, that the people of Jamaica are not getting access to for better health outcomes. You also have to consider that we have a tender system that the more drugs available and the newer drugs available, they tend to be cheaper. The more drugs available, more competitive the tender system. Therefore, lower cost. Lower cost means you spend less money on drugs for the same amount of outcome. More money available for education, gas for police cars, etc. So fiscally, it makes a lot of sense. But sometimes there's a slight gap between policy and execution and timing. And we have to become less tolerant in Jamaica for lack of execution.
Thanks for that reply, Chairman. And my final query is a same split question. So you'd have brought on Mr. De Silva, Ms. Sylvester on, at the AS Bryden level, freed up Group CEO Pandoe. Is it that CEO Pandoe is going to be more focused on Jamaica now, with him no longer having?
Well, the whole business is under Richard, right?
No, I agreed. But
this gentleman is responsible not just for the cows in St. Thomas, but the entire performance of the entire business. And that includes AS Bryden's. We are very, very happy that John and Shelley could join us here today. Thank you. Great addition to the company. And the reality is, we have a lot of things to get done, a lot of objectives to achieve, and talent is the key driver behind that. So we're very, very happy that they've joined the group.
No, the reason why I mentioned that is, I know, I said it's on his portfolio, but he can redirect his focus more so towards Jamaica rather than being focused on direct oversight in Trinidad. So that's
that's not going to come out of my mouth, David. No. He is responsible for the entire company, and to the extent that Jamaica, obviously we have huge potential in Jamaica. It's true, but we're in, I believe, 12 markets, Richard? Yeah, and every single one of them is incredibly important, not just to get us where we need to get to, but if you think about it, a lot of our production is in Jamaica. To improve the production, you need volume increases, right? The whole problem with the Caribbean is we're fragmented. We don't have scale. So what we're trying to do is to deliver scale by amalgamating many small markets and plugging them in to a first-class manufacturing facility.
I appreciate it. And just my final point, I see you, Richard. So it's just the final point. Earlier you mentioned the family partnership in Guyana. You partnered with the family in Barbados for Armstrong Agencies. You partnered with the former owners to acquire AS Bryden, and what I've just appreciated is that Seprod, along with AS Bryden, has been doing a lot more family partnerships about this amalgamation process. So, just a simple comment, as to what I'd say, the benefits that you've achieved and from these partnerships, and also, do you see further opportunities to partner with those family-based businesses to further grow the scale and integration of the businesses?
Yeah, I see people as the most important aspect of our business. That's the number one thing. If you refer to our business in Barbados, we have a credible partner, two partners. We have Brian Cabral's family in Stamford, Scott. You can't go out and recruit a Brian Cabral. Brian Cabral is one of the leading innovators in beverage distribution in the Caribbean over the last 40 years. He's an incredible individual, hardworking, and what he has forgotten, in the last, we probably won't learn. He is a bank of information, and it's a real privilege to have him working alongside us in that market. The same could be said with Michael Conyers, who
Deputy Chairman of
who is a shareholder in AS Bryden's. At the end of the day, we want to work with great people. We want to work with great people that are aligned with us and incentivized to continue to build and grow the businesses. You don't get up in the morning and want to work with people that you don't like. So we tend to try and find people that are similar to us, who have the same views on where the business is going to go, and most importantly, have a high level of integrity, and that are trustworthy, and it takes two to clap. It takes two hands. We trust them, and they trust us, and that's very important. And trust is not bought because you buy the company. It's not something that you inherit. It's something you earn. And we try and work in a certain way, and to build credibility. And we believe that if we behave in a certain way, we perform, we do what we say we're going to do, over time we will attract many other people, perhaps that we don't even know today, as possible partners in geographies that we haven't thought about today. But that's how business evolves from our perspective.
Thank you very much, Chairman, for your responses.
Okay, thank you, David. I'd also like to add that we have other shareholders from CBJ, like Mark Hart, Tom Tyler, et cetera, that are shareholders of our company as well, and our partners, and we're very privileged to work with them. So it's right across the board of our business. It's part of what we do. Yes.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. My name is Muriel Bailey, and I'm a shareholder. On page 141 and note 33, under your contingencies, you note that a subsidiary has I think it's a 50-year lease of sugarcane lands from the government. So my question is, are you doing any sugarcane business at all, or do you plan to? Or you're going to use the land for something else, or you are using it for something else?
Yeah, we're using the land for evaluating what we're doing with our dairy. We spoke a little bit earlier about...
So it's just dairy, no sugar at all?
No, we don't have any sugar.
And you don't plan to?
No. We have no plans to go back in the sugar business. And
not profitable enough? Or?
I will sign an indemnity to anyone that punches me in the face. You have pure permission to knock me over, beat me up, if you ever see us back in the sugar industry in Jamaica producing sugar.
Totally understand. Yeah. All right, so my second...
As a shareholder, you have every right to be able to
and
do
I
that.
think there are probably some shareholders here who might, but not me.
Okay.
Right, all right. So my second quick question is in terms of the NARA funds. So we understand that in the next 3 to 5 years, we'll be inundated with lots and lots and lots of funds. So the question is Seprod positioning itself? I mean, what specifically is Seprod doing? Knowing that these funds are going to come like a flood, what is Seprod doing in terms of rebuilding the West, in terms of using up these funds, in terms of being able to harness?
I don't think we have access to those funds, not that I've...
No, but you will be in a position where when these funds exist, then if you have certain products or whatever that is needed to rebuild the West, then you would be positioned there to benefit from these funds. So is there anything that Seprod is specifically doing, since you know that flood is coming?
No, between Richard and myself, I think we're fairly ignorant about any of that. I mean, I would say that anything that expedites and improves the efficiency of the rebuilding of Jamaica is going to be good for Seprod. There's no doubt about it. If hotels are built and many more are built on top of the ones that are recovering, we will sell a lot more product. And what's good for Jamaica, I think, is good for us. And so I understand the concept of it in expediting and removing some of the impediments to getting stuff done. I'm not familiar with the details of what you're describing there. Perhaps you having highlighted that, it makes me feel maybe I should find out what's going on a little bit. But you know, we're very much focused on our business and our business plans and executing our product rollouts and trying to ensure that when the tourist business comes back, we're ready to service our customers in the best way we possibly can.
Mr. Scott.
Yeah, okay. Can this be your last, this is your last question, otherwise we'll be here all day.
Yeah, hear me out, Mr. Scott. The same thing where we are on from, based upon what the lady said about sugar, why is it, what the difference between the company over Trinidad or whatever, they make,
the what?
Make the sugar. They make the company, the sugar we are on from Jamaica, if we go, the sugar industry, we are on from that. Other company can make money off it by packaging it and send to Jamaica. Why we can't build up a sugar industry?
Boy. Okay, well, I'm going to take that offline with you because I've had many conversations while we were in the sugar industry of what was required to be needed to be done in order for us to have an industry that functioned and worked, right? We are overtaxed and overregulated.
Which government like that?
No, so the 1971 Sugar Control Act put in a sugar industry authority that has a lot of rules and regulations that really were probably relevant in 1971, and we're now in 2026. I can't explain them. Same way I can't explain why we can't bring sperm from Brazil.
Investors, man.
Sorry?
Run with them, I run with investors, them.
The what?
Run with them, I run with the investors, and them do them something there.
Okay, I don't know. All right,
when them overtax, I run them around.
All right, okay, fine. So what's your question?
Page 134. Inventory. Your inventory.
Yeah.
The group, this is the group, 2025 and 2024.
Yeah.
All right, we have packaging, material, worker in progress, finished goods, merchant for reselling,
right?
Goods in trust.
Transit,
yeah. Transit.
Okay, what's the question?
What made up these others of 1,084,900 or something? What made up these others?
It's a lot of things. Anything that doesn't fit into any of the things above that you just read out would be chucked into other.
Unfinished goods.
Spare parts.
Unfinished goods.
Yeah.
Merchants.
Yes.
Materials. Good interest.
Okay. Any other questions?
Just that one. What made up that?
I have no idea. Anything that doesn't fit the buckets.
Like the sugar.
Okay. Yeah, we have no idea about sugar. That's why we're no longer in it, and we lost a lot of money in it. Yeah.
Hi. Good morning. I am Jevon Reed with Money Media. I'm a Money Media fellow. I have two questions. The first being on regional expansion, and the second on shareholder value.
Yep.
The first on regional expansion. Following the acquisition of AS Bryden, what have been the biggest lessons learned from integrating a regional business, and how will those lessons shape future expansions?
That's a very good question. I think AS Bryden's is somewhat complicated. We acquired AS Bryden's just on the back of COVID. So COVID had a big disruption in trade, particularly in Trinidad, where all the restaurants and bars were effectively closed. So our focus initially was to ensure that the business recovered and we could ensure that the whole infrastructure and personnel and people were maintained. We didn't make any considerable changes to the organization in terms of people because we were rebuilding the business and the capacity and capability post-COVID, because we acquired it just after COVID. In fact, we were negotiating the purchase during COVID. So our first phase, obviously, was everything's about people. It was ensuring talent didn't leave, that we could manage the organization, et cetera. I think over the last 4 years, the biggest lesson for me personally, and you know, I will say Richard has this is on me because Richard's view is very spot on, is when you come to IT systems. You know, if you know your own IT system and your system works and operates seamlessly, I would say that when we acquired CBJ, we had a system change, an ERP system change. And given that we were changing the system, it probably in hindsight would have made more sense for us to just put it onto our system. And I think that is a big error. It's a big learning. But I think that is something that is super important, is to ensure that you have harmonization of systems as quickly as possible so you can control the business. People and talent are the number one aspect of it. I can't remember what your other question was.
So it segues to the second question, which is on shareholder value.
Yeah.
Which is, should investors expect Seprod to prioritize acquisitions, debt reduction, dividends, or share buybacks over the next few years?
Okay, well, that's a lot there. So with regard to, we're very much aligned. Seprod, essentially, the majority of the shares of Seprod is owned by the people that are running Seprod. So the wealth of myself, my family, Richard's family, Damien, most of our managers, 55% of our employees are shareholders in the company. Completely correlates to delivering shareholder value. And that has to be delivered over time. It's not quarter over quarter. And if you look in the numbers and you see effectively our equity position 15 years ago, and you look at our equity position now, you'd see like an 18% compounded return, right? On any given year, you wouldn't see that, but you would see it over time. That's because we invest in things that don't necessarily pop up quarter by quarter. So if you're buying land acquisition in St. Thomas, for example, we own 16,000 acres of land. The vast majority of that is on our books at very low value because it's agricultural land. but we were able to acquire that over a long period of time. And that is accretive to our value. All of you own a piece of that land, and it's a considerable, valuable asset that's essentially not delivering anything in terms of cash flow at this point in time to Seprod, but doesn't mean it's not valuable. So our entire management is focused on shareholder value and how we deliver that. In terms of leverage, over the last 4 years, we've probably spent $250 million acquiring companies. That, if you think about A.S. Bridens, you think about CPJ, you think about Stanford Scott, you think of H. Jason Jones, it's quite considerable. That's on top of considerable capex of rebuilding a margarine plant, moving Surge Island Farms from St. Thomas to Bogwalk, right? Actually acquiring Nestle, which was previous to that. So we've spent a lot of money in building out what we have today. We expect our leverage to be continually dropping, and it will be a very different leverage position in 12 months' time because we're deliberately reducing debt.
May I ask a follow-up question?
Yeah.
Truth be told, I was following the whole story about the possibility of purchasing Nestle Trinidad. Even though I was late, I had these questions beforehand.
Right.
So in light of your responses, I'd love to know what are the key metrics that management uses to determine whether an acquisition is creating long-term shareholder value?
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to talk to you afterwards. I'm not sure that's necessarily a conversation for the AGM. First and foremost, if you look at Seprod, what Seprod is a consumer, fast-moving consumer goods company that's in manufacturing and distribution across the Caribbean. And it's essentially taking a lot of small markets and putting them together to create scale, to allow us to invest in first-class production facilities that we wouldn't otherwise be able to do if we were just concentrating on any one of those small markets. And that allows us to be competitive to then export to Canada, New York, London, et cetera, on top of that. So we're fairly focused in that. We do have an outlier in our business, which is FT Farfar, because when we acquired A.S. Bridens, they had that. It's an industrial equipment business. Mm-hmm. But the vast majority of our revenue is coming from fast-moving consumer goods space in the Caribbean. And
Thank you.
So we're very, very focused on that. So it likely is you would have to be in that space for us to be looking at it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, my friend from Mandeville, welcome. Good to see you.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Wesley
Good morning.
Thomas, shareholder. Right, I was very impressed, sir, that Seprod was one of the main sponsors in the World Cup 2026. And I think they need to give a round of applause to bring all that entertainment to Jamaica. But my question is this. Do we get any money from FIFA to subsidize any, to have it here? That's what I want to know. Or did you solely were responsible for yourself?
Absolutely no idea.
Yeah?
Richard,
That's what I want to know.
So we didn't sponsor the World Cup.
No.
So the viewing of the World Cup in Jamaica. So, just to be clear, no, there's no money from FIFA. That is us doing our thing, putting our brand out there. Seprod brand. It was an iconic brand. This is a brand, by the way, I just remind people, this was an international brand within the Nestle portfolio. Seprod bought this globally. And this was the first time we're taking a brand that was not purely Jamaican, but going into the national business. And you have to invest behind your brands. You have to invest behind your brands. I mean, you have to spend money today to protect your earnings tomorrow. And this was a key moment. I mean, a lot of people are watching this. The World Cup is the greatest show in the world. And we're proud to have been able to partner with the various entities, TVJ included, to bring it to the Jamaican public. All right, cool.
Yeah, thank you. It obviously had a good effect, so we thank you for that. Okay, good morning.
Everyone, to Mr. Cabal Leslie, to the chairman, Mr. Pandui and his team, it was something similar like that I was coming up to commend you for, I don't really understand much about the games, but I saw where, the 50 team did a competition and they won. you know that in Jamaica, it's a crime-prone, country, and where also your business is. And, to do this, I'm asking if it is an annual year thing you're going to do. If you're going to do it annually, this team, competition that you have brought about for the 50 teams, and also we can see it's not just about for business. We can see where you invest in the people with love and share. What we hear about you doing in Barbados, for that competition, the feeding team. And we know that everywhere you go, you put yourself in love. And, so I'm saying to you that, it is a good initiative. And we know that you want to expand it everywhere you put your foot. So I'm saying I commend you, the team, and everybody for what they're doing. So if this could be an annual event, it would be very good, right? So, I'm just commending you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the kind work that you've been doing out there.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, I don't believe we have any more questions. Oh, is there a lady coming up, or is she just finding her seat? Okay, great. Well, welcome back. Okay, no more questions online. With that, I will put forward a motion that the director's report, the auditor's report, and the finance statements showing the position of the company's affairs of December 31st now be before the meeting and are hereby approved and adopted. David Rose, seconded Melanie Sparty. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. In accordance with Articles 89 and 91 of the Company's Articles Association, the following directors retiring from office and being eligible offer themselves for re-election. That's Michael Sabati, Nicholas Scott, Brian Winter, and Ronnie Schindler. I would like to put forward a motion that we take these en bloc. Could I have a second? David? All in favor? Thank you. I therefore would like to put forward a motion that Michael Sabati, Nicholas Scott, Brian Winter, and Ronnie Schindler be re-elected directors of Seprod. Can I second David Rose? Sir? Thank you very much. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Remuneration of directors. I move that the amount shown in the accounts for the year ended 31st December 2025 for the directors' fees be and are hereby approved. Can I have a second? David Rose. Sir, all in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. Okay, I move that the directors be authorized to appoint the auditors for the ensuing year. Can I have a second, please? David Rose. All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. Dividend payment. The company made the following dividend payments during the year. A payment of 65 cents to the shareholders on record as of May 22nd, 2025. It was made June 6th, 2025, and we made another one at same 60 cents and $0.0605 to shareholders on record as of October 17th. It was made on November 7th. We also made one of the same amount of $0.605 to shareholders on record December 19th. It was made January 16th. I move that the payments made on June 6th, November 7th, and January 16th are hereby approved. Can I have a second? David Rose, all in favor? Thank you very much. Is there any other business that's to be... You have another business? Are you just going to say increase the dividends? Huh? Oh, against. You're against?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the next payment also could get 95.5 cents. You understand? Please don't talk to.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's a good job I have controlling share of this company. All right. Is there any other business? If there's no other business, I'll bring the meeting to a close. Thank you very much to everyone who came. And, we have at the back some sandwiches, coffee, water, drinks, and we look forward to seeing you next year. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Some brands are built through mere advertising. Others are built through generations of trust. For decades, Suppligen has been a part of our lives. Then, in 2016, Seprod acquired Nestlé's Bob Walk Condensery, beginning a new chapter and renewing its commitment to one of the country's most iconic brands. From new flavors and formats to bold storytelling, Suppligen evolved for a new generation. After years of quiet, the brand reconnected with Jamaicans through Out and Stunting, powerful new television campaigns, and authentic experiences. Then came our biggest brand experience yet. The inaugural Suppligen Big Boost Games brought together 50 teams for 50 hours of endurance, resilience, and teamwork, captivating audiences across Jamaica. From a trusted nutritional drink to a modern lifestyle brand, Suppligen continues to evolve. 50 years.